All right, all right, all right. Linda, what's up, Linda? We are live. All right, welcome to StreamYard, folks. Now, it shouldn't affect you on your side on the Facebook page. However, I'm also now streaming live. Hey, Scott, I'm streaming live on YouTube and X simultaneously. As you can see, my banner in the background. Hey, Terry. StreamYard has the mirror correction. So my left hand is my left hand, my right hand is my right hand, and you can see Angie's angles and my. Hey, Clark, how are you? Here we go, folks. Here we go. The inaugural Angie's angles on StreamYard. Good evening, everybody! Welcome to an Angry Angie's Angles! It is November the 9th in the year of my Lord, 2023! I gotta say hi to Linda, Scott, Harold, Terry, Derek, and Clark. So far, so good. Lion Woman, wahoo! So Linda, Harold, Clark, I am Tri-Interstatal. Oh my goodness. Terry, happy birthday to your mom. Bon cumpleaños. Signorina Sanchez. Terry, happy birthday to your mom. All right, everybody. I promised you a hot, a heavy, and angry Angie's Angles, and we're going to get right into it. Right into it, we're going to go. Can somebody please direct me to the press conference that the New York Mets are going to have to announce Carlos, who the hell are you, Mendoza? Kevin Elliott, I am quadruple interstatal. The New York Mets, in their infinite wisdom, has gone across town to the Bronx rivals, the goddamn Skankies. They lost out on one Craig Counsell, much to my chagrin, but I must admit, perhaps we're happy to not have great Craig Counsell, because he's a piece of garbage in my humble opinion. Mr. McGowan is in the house. Buckle up, Jim. It's going to be bumpy. Craig Counsell not only left Milwaukee and the players he claimed to love, making the playoff 5 out of the 6 years that he was there. Clark, we don't want Ollie. Ollie, oxen free, if you know what I mean. So the Mets panic, in my opinion. And we went and we hired a rookie manager. And how'd that work out, Mickey Callaway? How'd that work out, Willie Randolph? We loved Willie Randolph so much. We had him board the plane in New York. And as soon as he landed in California, we said, adios, muchachos. It almost, the state of the Mets that we're in currently almost makes me wish for the Wilpons. Mark Brooks, I am quintuple interstatal. I mean, Steve Cohen, at least now we know Steve Cohen's true colors. He just announced on the same day that we announced that Carlos Mendoza has been hired as the manager. Steve Cohen put out that he's got an $8 billion plan to renovate the marshes around Citi Field, i.e. the casino, i.e. a live music venue. You could have saved a lot of money by putting a dome on the damn stadium, Cohen, and done your music and your baseball in the same venue. Steve Cohen, Brett Milletta, I know you're taking a siesta right now, Brett, but you couldn't have been any truer and couldn't have been any clearer saying this is not a man who loves the New York Mets. This is strictly how many beans he can count at the end of the freaking day. I mean, I'm telling you, if you could see me, I got my arms crossed, because if not, I'm going to be taking my laptop and throwing it across the damn room. For God's sakes, Carlos Mendoza! Why? Why did we get rid of one Buck Showalter to bring in a Carlos Mendoza? 20 years with the Yankees, and guess what? All he got was a bench coach position. He's not loved in the Yankees. That's all they could offer him. I mean, for God's sakes, can somebody step up and let me know, Kevin, when is it, Kevin, that the press announcement with Mr. and Mrs. Meta on the pedestal saying, welcome Carlos Mendoza? Danny Gagliano, my son. Oh, my God, Danny, what's going on? I'm telling you, I got Adam. Happy birthday, Adam. Buon compleanno to you, my friend. I was talking to Kevin Elliott prior to coming on tonight that I was in the cigar lounge shaking. And I've played a lot of baseball games in my entire life. I played a lot. And there was never a game, not one, where I didn't have butterflies before the game. I was anxious. I was shaking. I was nervous. I was like that tonight in the lounge. But once I crossed the line on that baseball field, it all went away. And let me tell you something. If I was your teammate, back me up, Kevin Elliott. If I was your teammate, there was no one else you wanted other than me on your team. And if you were the other team, you hated me. You hated my guts. Because I played the game the way the game was supposed to play. 100%. Leave nothing on the field. And that's what I did every single time. Every time. There was not a ball that I ever gave up on. There was never a ground ball that I jogged down to first base. Larry Levy, if you're watching this, back it up. If that ball was in my area code, I got glove on it. Guaranteed. And 99% of the time, in my pocket. End of story. And if you try to take second on me, you're out. 99% of the time. Never mind trying to tag up from third. Never had a chance, I tell you. Not while I was on my watch. I mean, Mr. McGowan explained that. Mr. McGowan's telling me the Mendoza hiring is an act of desperation by Cohen and the GM. And the GM, a Harvard grad, got played by Craig Counsell. He claims that they were like this, when really him and the toy maker were like this. to steal a line from one of my favorite movies ever. Laurel and Hardy, Babes in Toyland, for those that don't know what I speak of. Craig Counsell and David Stearns was not like this. It was never a done deal. Yeah, that's funny, Mark Brooks. And I think it was Kevin Elliott that said this. They hired the right guy, Carlos Mendoza, to manage the Mets because each and every one of those batters batted below the Mendoza line. Holy jumping Jehovah's Witnesses. Hey, Mike, I am 6 times interstatal. Oh, dear jeez, I am beside myself. Carlos Mendoza. Where's our press announcement? Where's our press conference? Where's Steve Cohen? Where's Dave Stearns? Saying this is our guy. Ray Hughes, don't even bring the soccer balls to the table, Ray. I love you, brother. I mean, Steve Valley, obviously you're not wrong, Steve. Much to my chagrin, I really thought it was a package deal. Stearns, Counsell, in tandem, work together. There's no learning curve. We can hit the road running with Counsell and Stearns at the helm. But no. Now we got Carlos Mendoza, a skanky. And my best friend in the universe, Elaine Land, says you got to get over the skanky part. But I can't get over that. Why can't we have our own goddamn identity? Give it to Wally Backman, for God's sakes, and let's see what he does. Joe McEwing, super utility guy extraordinaire. Ron Darling, entice him out of the broadcast booth. A thinking man's man. He of Ivy League school education as well. I mean, Clark. You know, I brought this up to Kevin. I said, Craig Counsell is a piece of garbage. How do you accept a job, have it announced, and Dave Ross doesn't even know he got fired yet? So much for the manager fraternity. I would kick Craig Counsell right out of that fraternity faster than you can say holy smoly. If you know what I mean. And Mark Brooks, let me tell you something. The Mets could not be good enough to grace me in their dugout. I really was going to come on here and rip up some Met paraphernalia. I really was. Yeah, Terry, that's what I don't want, Terry. I don't want none of your skanky magic, Terry. I don't need it. I don't want it. You guys have failed year after year in the recent years also. I mean, everybody's saying how Aaron Boone should have been fired. And no, he kept his job. But all the skanky execs are saying, oh my God, the Mets are lucky to have Carlos effing Mendoza. But he wasn't good enough to stay with the skankies. That's right, Steve. That's funny. The hiring of Carlos Mendoza exposed himself for who and what he is. Steve Cohen is on record saying he's not going to hire people to go through the learning curve. He wants experience. I mean, holy Christmas. What more can you give to the meth man? How can you give us Carlos Mendoza? And David Stearns admittedly says he was shocked. He was misled by Craig Counsell. It's incomprehensible. Yeah, listen, Mr. McGowan, I don't have a problem losing Joey Cora because I don't think he was a good third base coach. Clark, you're not wrong, apparently. And that's why this guy could never be a manager for the Mets. And the Lane Lands will testify. I'm not a yes guy. And sometimes to my own detriment. I believe what I believe. I'm going to take a moment. Sharon and Tommy Marino. Finally, your banner, my plaque, Angie's Angles, is getting its due justice now that I found StreamYard. And kudos to Kevin Elliott. Thank you, Kevin, for walking me through the nuances. We did a couple of practice runs. I had to make sure that everybody in my world and my Facebook family and friends would be able to follow me. I am not sure if my cousin Marianne is watching, but I love you, hon. I don't need a cigar, Steve. I got fire coming out of my veins right now. Yeah, here's my Guinness. Here's my Guinness. My cigar went out apparently. And I don't have the flamethrower today. I'm hot. I am bothered by this. And now again, it's not official. It is not official that they've signed Carlos Mendoza. And somebody that will go unnamed tonight told me that there was a David Ross sighting at Citi Field this week. For those that don't know who David Ross is, he's apparently the fired manager of the Chicago Cubs, where Jed Hoyer gave him a glowing after-season review saying he's our guy. And in the next breath, you're fired, David Ross. You're fired for one Craig Counsell. Steve, I disagree with you. I think David Ross was a fireman. Harold, can you comment? Harold's our resident Chicago Cub expert. Give us a little commentary on David Ross. I know you're happy with Craig Counsell, Harold, but I think you also said David Ross would have been just fine as well. Listen, Steve, it's only been recently that the Chicago Cubs have agreed to pump in some money into the team. Hold on, Adam, come here, Adam. Give us an appearance. Everybody's Adam's birthday. Say happy birthday, Adam. Happy birthday, brother. Many more, my friend. I need another drink. I really want the Will Ponzi's back. I mean, I just don't understand. And Brett Milletta, you came into my life for a reason, Brett. You opened up my eyes to the whole financial aspect of Major League Baseball, and especially the New York Mets. But what I don't understand, yeah, Jim, I need I need some I need some moonshine, Mr. McGowan. Yeah, Steve, we listen, Steve. The Mets were a below 500 team this year with Buck Showalter, one of the greatest minds in baseball, sans Kevin Elliott's opinion. Yes. And people argue with me, Clark, that Davey Johnson was a first-time manager when he came to the Mets. And Davey Johnson, my humble opinion, with all due respect to Gil Hodges, was the best manager we ever had. He was a player's manager. He let them do what they needed to do. And there was no tougher, no more arrogant team than the 1986 World Series champions, New York Mets. Now, I can only imagine what the next move of David Stearns is, this whiz kid from Harvard. Park the car in the back. We're going to lose Pete Alonso. I mean, I just don't get it. Buck got Alonso's back. Alonso back Buck. Lindor back Buck. McNeil back Buck. If we were going to bring in Carlos Mendoza, why'd we let Buck go? And what's the terms? What's Mendoza's terms? Where's he hiding? Has anybody seen Carlos? We've seen everybody, including the janitor at Citi Field, but we haven't seen Carlos Mendoza. A programming note, if I may. Tomorrow night, I'll be on StreamYard broadcasting live from the Shanley Hotel in Napanoch, New York. Bob and I are lucky. We're going to be going up there tomorrow morning. We're going to take in a couple of waterfalls at some of the parks up there. And then we're checking in at 6 o'clock. And at between 7 and 10 p.m., we'll be getting a paranormal tour of the Haunted Shanley Hotel. It's been featured on Ghost Hunters. You can look it up. And Bob and I will be sleeping in Annie's room, actually. A little girl that had lost her life at 3 years old. She fell into a well and died. And they say that she haunts the hotel, along with a lot of other characters. Oh, my goodness. So tune in tomorrow night or watch it on the replay, but I'll be on StreamYard broadcasting live from the Shanley Hotel, giving my updates. It's 8:53, and I can't believe it's 8:53, and I barely have a voice. We're going to jump right to the, and I'm in double digits. Thank you, everybody. I'm at 13, double digits live. And now, like I said, we're streaming right now live on YouTube and on X, formerly known as Twitter. And let's do this prayer circle because I got it's a big one this week. Harold, we're praying for Dawn and Dawn. Mark, we got your daughters, Dominique, China, in our prayers. We got your dad and you, Mr. Brooks. We're praying for you and your health challenges. Scott Tobias, we got your wife and your mom. Clark, your brother-in-law, Brad. Kevin Elliott, as you face and challenge your health issues. We got my good friends, the Krause family, and Aubrey in our prayers as she continues to remain in remission with her cancer. Linda Stein, my good friend, we have your dad, Mr. Stein, in our prayers. Mr. McGowan, not a day goes by that I don't drop a prayer on you, my friend. Debbie and Lee down in Maryland as Lee faces his challenges. My sister Patty and the girls. Again, for those that don't know, my sister lost her husband and the girls their dad July 3rd, tragically. Barbara, a.k.a. Buzzy, and her family as they muddled through life without her dad. Tom, his friend Paul, who has cancer, we're praying for him. Fred, your sister Jackie, who had valve surgery. And then my cousins, John, Charlie, and Joey Restivo, on the passing of my Aunt Frida. May you guys find solace, that she's at peace, back with her loved one, my uncle. The wake was last night, so I asked my Aunt Frida to do me a favor and tell my mom and dad I love them as they pass ahead of her. If you guys could pass this broadcast along to your friends, let them know that they could catch me on YouTube. I believe it's Angie's Angles or Angelo Gagliano on YouTube. Look up my channel. If you need the link to my channel, I'll send it to you. Mark, I'm not sure what time tomorrow, but you could always watch the replay. You know, I don't know. I guess when I get there, maybe I'll do a quick snippet. I purchased a membership to StreamYard so I could post ad nauseum. Harold, are you still with us? I'm not sure if your phone crapped out or not. But it would tickle me pink if you guys could just pass Angie's Angles on to one friend. We're looking to blow me up. But I will not get too big to not remember all of you. I will continue to give the shout outs. I'll continue to remain interstatal when it happens. Hey, Harold, thanks, buddy. Thank you very much, Clark. Harold, your David Ross assessment. I know you're tickled pink with Craig Counsell, but if you had kept Ross, I think you would have been okay with that as well. Some feedback if you don't mind. So one of the things about StreamYard, I'm going to be able to have multiple guests. So in the off season, we're going to probably do that. We'll talk about, maybe Clark will have you talk about St. Louis and what 2024 is going to look at. Harold will bring you back to discuss the Cubs and your new manager. I don't understand. Yeah. So if you find me on YouTube, please like it and subscribe to my YouTube channel. That'll help me. Send out the message out there and we can get a bigger audience. So we're at 8:58. I'm glad Tommy and Sharon that my board is getting its full recognition. I'm very happy that it's no longer backwards because Facebook didn't have that autocorrect on it. StreamYard is working just fine for me. Guys, I barely have a voice left. And I really seriously considered tearing up some Met paraphernalia today, and I guess my heart wouldn't let it happen. I am diehard, blue and orange, a Met fan for life. Good or bad, I guess I'll suffer. I appreciate each and every one of you hanging with me. I know I did a couple of practices on StreamYard just to make sure that you were all able to come here and see me tonight. I would not have done it if I wasn't sure. So tune in tomorrow night. I'll be on probably a couple of times broadcasting from the Shanley Hotel in Napanock. I'm looking forward to meeting Kelly, who's one of the owners of the hotel, trying to get some insight. I'm gonna have a little a GoPro knockoff, so hopefully I'm gonna get some shadows or some apparitions and some voices, etc., etc., etc. Anyways, that's right, Clark. Yeah, Harold, I understand. I get it, guys. All right. There's been Angie's Angles coming to you live on Adam's birthday night. It's actually Saturday, but we're celebrating tonight. Good night. God bless. I love you.